Lobsters, one of the world's great ingredients, one of Prince Edward Island's most famous exports. But let's face it, lobsters can be a little bit intimidating. I mean, how often do you actually boil something alive in your kitchen, let alone worry about how to get the meat out of the shell? But you know, it's really not that big a deal. So let's cook some lobsters.
Please be careful, because this one here is the super sharp, fast claw. This one is the crush. Do not get your fingers in there, okay?
Tastes like a day at the beach. But what if you don't have a beach in your backyard? What if the ocean's not lapping up to your front steps? Well, then it's really as simple as for every quart of water you use, add 1 tablespoon of salt. 1 quart of water, 1 tablespoon of salt. Very simple.
Now, you've got to kill it quickly. We'll do this as safe and as humane as possible. There's the cross line there. Cross, there. Knife in and down through, and that is it.
The rubber bands on the lobster's claws are there mainly to keep it from damaging other lobsters and to keep it from damaging you, but those same rubber bands will damage the flavor of the lobster when you boil it. See, here's what you do. Grab onto the claws, then cross them over, just like that, cross them, okay? And then hold them firmly. Just grab on nice and tight, and now your hand is free to pull off the rubber band.
Straight into the water. Touch of salt. And that is in there for 2 minutes. We're not cooking it all the way through, we're just poaching it to release the meat from the shell.
Just like that. So how long does it actually take to cook a lobster? Well, here's what you do. First of all, start with as much boiling water as you can put together in your kitchen. Then add the lobsters to the boiling water. And then when the water returns to the boil, time out 5 minutes. At that point, you've got a perfectly cooked lobster.
Now, snap off the claws. Get down to the knuckles and twist and off. And then from there, straighten out the tail and twist. So you've got all that meat and twist, okay?
And the lobster's done too. I think we should put these on the Prince Edward Island flag. This is one of those skills that a lot of people don't know how to do, so inevitably there's all this conversation about the right and wrong way to open up a lobster. Look, there's no right or wrong way. As long as you're getting the meat out of the lobster, you're doing it the right way. So don't let anybody tell you you're doing it the wrong way.
Left in there. Open up the tail and then just press the shell very gently. Don't crush it. Now, once you've gone 2/3 of the way through, press here and shake. Carefully pull out the tail. Now, claws. Snap off the knuckles, twist, and pull. Get that blade out there.
Here's how I do it. I start by simply pulling off the claws from the front. Just break them right off along with the knuckles. Set those aside. Then, grab onto the tail with one hand, grab onto the carapace with the other hand, and just twist it open. Just like that. Open it right up. And if you see this, bonus. That's the eggs. That means it was a female lobster, and that's some seriously good flavor right there. That's a bonus. That's a little bit of extra flavor.
Okay, the blade comes out. We want these claws intact. Just gently prise out that claw. And then open up the knuckles. But some of you stop at that point.
A bit of meat in these legs, but frankly, I don't have the patience to get it out, so I never bother. I just leave them to somebody else at the table or end up throwing them into the soup pot.
There's more meat in here. The 8 legs that the majority of the population forget about. I am not going to let these legs go to waste. You start from the thin end, you place that down there, and you literally push and roll.
For the tail, what I like to do is just put it in my hand, like that, and then crush it, which breaks it along the bottom. And once it's broken, you can just take your thumbs and open it this way. Just like that. And out pops a perfectly cooked lobster tail. See the way that tail comes together? That's perfectly cooked. If it was starting to twist like that, it would be overcooked. If it was open too much, it would be undercooked.
How do we present that? Let me show you. You take your tail and you just gently slice, and this helps it flatten out. That sits on your board. Your claws go on, and then your legs.
Then to get the claw meat out, a nutcracker's quite handy. Just break it just enough so you can get inside there and pull that claw out. It's also useful to sort of pop that first little hinge shell there. If you don't have a nutcracker, you can do it this way. Just grab onto any knife and just give it a good whack. And break it apart.
We're not done. Take this beautiful head, pull that off, open it very carefully, and then take your scissors and I'm going to trim the shell now, beautifully. And then finally, take a little touch of extra virgin olive oil, just very carefully brush. It gives it a nice sheen.
Wow, Mike.
That is how you extract every ounce of lobster from your shell. Got it?
Wow.
Like a whole lot of work, but it's worth it for all of this flavor right here. And then there's that last debate. What's it going to be? Do you prefer the tail or the claw? I actually like them both, but I prefer the claw. I think the claw's got the most flavor, the sweetest flavor, especially when you dip it in lemon brown butter. Tastes like Prince Edward Island.